Dear students, today let us discuss the story entitled Weathering the Storm in Irsama from the textbook Moments. The story has been written by Hers Mander. He was born on 17th of April 1955. He is an Indian author, columnist, researcher, teacher, and social activist who works with survivors of mass violence and hunger, as well as homeless persons and street children. He is the director of the Center for Equity Studies, a research organization based in New Delhi. Weathering the Storm in Irsama narrates the adventures of a young man, Prashant, who was marooned on a rooftop for 2 nights following a dreadful storm. It was that fateful day the storm lashed in full fury with heavy wind and rain. Trees were uprooted and water entered neck deep inside the friend's house. Now, summary of the story. Prashant went to his friend's house in Irsama on 27th October 1999. It was 7 years after his mother's death. In the evening, heavy and continuous rain filled the darkness. Trees were uprooted. The waters entered his friend's house. The speed of the wind was 350 km per hour. Everything was destroyed there. The scene of destruction was horrible. Prashant and his friend's family had taken refuge on the roof. Prashant won't forget the horrible scene that he saw. He was greatly shocked to see a huge sheet of water all over. It covered everything as far as the eye could see. Houses were broken, dead animals and human bodies floated everywhere. Huge trees had fallen. The coconut trees had fallen on the house of Prashant's friend. Its tender coconuts kept them alive for several days. For a couple of days, Prashant sat huddled on the rooftop with his friend's family. They were nearly frozen in cold wind. Prashant thought of his family. He decided to go, though his friend's family asked him to stay back. Prashant was worried about his family, so he got a strong stick. He then started on his 18-kilometer journey to his village. The floodwaters were swollen. Prashant waded through water. On the way, he found two friends of his uncle. They were also returning home. They had to push away many floating dead bodies of human beings and animals to move ahead. There were hardly any houses left in the villages that they passed. Prashant wept, thinking that no one in his family would have survived. Finally, Prashant reached his village, Kalikuda. The roof was the only thing that was left of his house, so he went to the Red Cross shelter to look for his family there. He saw his maternal grandmother there. It was a miracle for them to see Prashant alive. They had thought Prashant to be dead. Prashant's family was there. Prashant decided to assess the damage and the danger awaiting the survivors. All the houses in the village had been washed away. Prashant organized a group of youths of his village. It pressurized the merchant to give them some rice. They made a fire and cooked the rice. However, the rice was rotting. His next step was to clean the place of filth, urine, and floating dead bodies. On the fifth day, a military helicopter dropped food, but it didn't return. The group deputed the children to lie there. They had the empty utensils on their stomachs. It was to communicate to the passing helicopters that they were hungry. Finally, they got food through airdropping. Prashant became a savior. He brought the orphaned children and made a shelter for them. He asked the women to look after them, but he soon found that women and children were sinking deeper and deeper in their grief. He made them join the Food for Work program. It was started by a non government organization, NGO. He engaged other volunteers to help keep widows to start their lives. He also believed that orphans should be resettled in their own community. 6 months passed. Soon after the super cyclone, Prashant now thought about himself. Earlier, he had no time to bother about his own pain. The widows and orphaned children of the village thought of Prashant only in their hours of grief. Now, the moral that the story bears. The message conveyed in this story is that the community members should help themselves when the calamity strikes. In order to get the aid, they should not be completely dependent upon the government. Also, the important message conveyed in this chapter is that the youth plays a vital role in his or her contribution to society. Now, glossary, that is, meanings of the difficult words. Menacing means dangerous and harmful. Fury means extreme strength. Incessant means unceasing, continuous. Ancient means old. Rent means filled. Swirled means moved or flowed along with a whirling motion. Mortar means a mixture of lime, cement, sand, and water used to construct buildings. Surge means gush. Refuge means shelter. Rout means produced as a result of something. Fractured means broken. Bloated means swollen. Animal carcasses means dead bodies of animals. Blessing in disguise means an apparent misfortune that eventually has good results. Tender means soft, raw. Huddled means together in a group. Flashed through his mind, came to his mind. Bereaved means to have lost a family member or a friend to death. Recede means reduce. Expedition means journey. Waded means swim. Macabre means horrible. Catastrophe means disaster. Remnants means small remaining quantities. Eyes brimming means eyes were full of tears. Motley means disparate, varied in appearance or character. Battered means injured. Tumult means uproar of a disorderly crowd force. Triumphantly means victoriously. Bellies means stomach. Orphan means a child who loses either one or both of his parents to death. Stigma means disgrace. Foster families means a family that provides custody or guardianship for children whose parents are dead or unable to look after them.